Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm Cymoine.
And I'm Anane.
If you've been looking for a sign to take action on helping someone, consider this it. Volunteers roll up their sleeves in New Orleans to help contribute to various causes that help build up the community. Every little bit helps, and hopefully this next step will inspire you to take the first step. Today, Erin Marrero-Savoie from the Phoenix Project is here to share more about her work in the community. Thank you for stopping by, Erin.
Thank you all for having me.
Tell us about the Phoenix Project and your role.
Okay, so I am the founder and executive director of Phoenix Project NOLA, which was founded in 2016 here in New Orleans. We know during that time that we had an increase in the homeless population. We also know that housing and the cost of housing continue to go up. Since then, fast forward to 2024, we are working and building our very first tiny house. And thank you. And the tiny house is going to be 500 square feet. It's going to be built using industrial hemp material. And we have hopes to have the very first tiny house village here in New Orleans to help those who are either returning home from incarceration or single mothers or just someone who's in a transitional period in their life.
It's beautiful.
I look forward to that. So you talked a little bit about your mom inspiring you with her work that she's done with the homeless. Can you tell us more about that and how her impact really helped you start the project?
Absolutely. So actually both of my parents started out originally as educators. My dad was a math teacher. My mom worked as a librarian. Then she transitioned to working with Catholic Charities with their homeless population. So from a very young age, I worked with her on the back ends of either doing charitable fundraisers, working in the shelters, working with our community to collect clothing, then distribute to children who were in need. So that's always something that's been instilled in me from my parents to make sure that we're giving back to the communities. My dad was also a basketball coach his entire life, my entire upbringing, and I was able to see firsthand what it's like for some kids to just not have housing, not have stable housing, seeing the kids that my parents worked with continuously have to move around. So this was always something that was just very much a big passion of mine to make sure I could give back to New Orleans in that way.
That's wonderful. So can you share a little bit more about how you're encouraging your two boys to really give back and do that service and keep that family legacy of service going?
Yeah, so my sons have the opportunities when I go out to check on the materials, or if I'm going to do any type of shopping, or if I have meetings or anything of the sort like that, they're part of it. They're typically off screen or on a Zoom call. They come to in-person meetings. I explain to them what we're doing hasn't been done yet in the city, hasn't been done in Louisiana. No home has yet been built with this industrial hemp material. Also, we don't have an influx of Black women from New Orleans who are saying, hey, I'm gonna develop a community. So I'm making sure that they know, like, this is the first, other people aren't doing this, but we're doing it, and they're a part of it and get to see it every day.
That's beautiful. I can't wait to see what they do.
Well, they both are self-proclaimed future police officers.
Oh,
So,
we need Black women.
so this is what they've decided to do. They both want to be in the police force here in New Orleans.
Okay, that's wonderful. I know they can really make some change.
And can. Since you're a pioneer and having a background in education and recruitment, how have these skills translated with your impact for the Phoenix Project NOLA?
Oh, so many different ways. It's not even that the skills, the skills have helped me, honestly. Having the opportunity to work in education outside of Phoenix Project, my current role is I'm an ED of operations for a charter school network. So when I am there, I do see firsthand how students are impacted on a daily basis with housing. I am the person for my organization who does receive some of those hardship requests when students have to make a transition from one school to another due to housing. When I'm doing my daily walks of the different buildings that I operate, sometimes I have to pause my walks and say, hey, let's time out. Does that kid have a uniform? Let's get them some uniforms. Let's make sure they have a little bit of extra food to go home today, things of the sort. So what I'm doing with Phoenix Project directly impacts my full-time job as well, because I see it every day. So without what I do with the schools and without Phoenix Project, it wouldn't work. I'm able to, because I know the work I'm doing with Phoenix Project directly impacts some of the students I get to see every day.
That's wonderful. So how have you been able to kind of intertwine Phoenix Project NOLA with the school system? Have you been able to get the kids involved with volunteering and all those types of things?
No, honestly, I do a really good job by keeping those two separate buckets, just because the role with Phoenix Project as the executive director there, it's very detailed of what I need to do and where that focus has to go. Right now, we are on the brink of doing something so different and what can be transformational for the city of New Orleans. Because of this material and what we're using in the event, for instance, there was another hurricane. The materials that we're using, if the house were to flood, we would not have to gut the house. We can then go in and fix the house back to how it needs to be. It wouldn't be harmful for folks to continue to live in there. And the work I do in the school system is just very, very different led work. So I do a good job of keeping them separate, but they pull at me in a way that like I am able to take from one and the other and incorporate what I'm learning. I always think of it as it's more of what I'm gaining from both, and I try and give back.
That's wonderful.
Okay. Do you have any plans on collaborating with other organizations who are like doing similar work?
Absolutely. So right now, Phoenix Project would not be here in existence if it wasn't for what I call community collaboration. So I have to give really great shout outs because I was a Propeller alum, and when I went to Propeller, they were able to connect me with a person who is a contractor with Grow Enterprises, who's now my contractor, who is building the house for me. If it wasn't for the organization First 72 Plus, we wouldn't have any land to then put the tiny house on, and we then wouldn't have any folks to reside in the tiny house. So they have welcome home programs, so a lot of their people who will be coming home will be living in the tiny house. So we've been doing a lot of collaborations.
Okay. Work.
The power of networking, it goes far. So what can the people of New Orleans do to help you to get more involved in the project?
I think the biggest thing is people in New Orleans, if they can continue to just be open-minded to the concept of what tiny living can look like. The house is going to be 500 square feet, but it's not tiny at all. It's going to be fully encompassed with a well-equipped kitchen, washer, dryer, a bedroom, bathroom, everything that one would need to sustain a regular house situation. But just making sure people are open-minded, accepting of the new materials that we're using, and then more importantly, so spread the word, share with others that we are here, that we are part of this community, and we're working to make a transition. Couldn't get that one out.
Okay, do you have like any like favorite memory like that you've had like with this project?
Oh, I think, my kids always take the show. I think my biggest favorite memory, so the tiny house has been built in a sense that all of the panels are already developed and we're getting ready to do the actual assembly of the house. And the day I was able to take my kids we also built it in a film studio, by the way, in Fishpot Studio in the 7th Ward, which is where I'm from. So that was like a great big moment. And I was able to take them into the film studio. One, show my black boys a film studio. And then two, they were able to see the panels fully built out. You have to build them, they have to sit for 30, 40 days or so, and then you move them to do the install. But they were able to see the panels built out. They were able to touch the material to see it from how it came, like very broken down to like framed as a housing structure. So that was just like a big, big moment for me as a mom. I was really excited about.
So outside of this great project, who is Erin? What is your personal POV, and how do you experience the city of New Orleans, whether that is on your stage or out and about in your everyday life?
That's a great question. So who am I? I would think I would say I'm an old school New Orleanian. I'm very, very old school New Orleanian. My life is, I'm going to church on Sundays. I'm doing community events. I'm spending a lot of time with family. I think I'm a Medea in the making. I'm very much always excited to host, always cooking, showing and expressing my love through cooking, hosting, and showing up for family. I have a very big family. I am very close with cousins on both sides of my families. Yeah, I am doing the things. I am hanging out on the bayou. I just recently went to the Museum of Art. That was beautiful. I'm just living the New Orleans life. I really like to make sure that I am enjoying the things that people come to the city to see on a weekly basis.
I love that. Very inspiring. I like to do the same. I love a good family time. So what do you want your legacy to be moving forward?
So what I want my legacy to be moving forward, and I've gotten this question a lot. People are always like, oh, are you ever going to change your name? I am very intentional in keeping my last name. My name is Erin Marrero-Savoie. That is from both sides of my family. My mom is a Marrero and my dad is a Savoie. And I want people to know what the names in the city means. They're just not really fun accents, and it's something to say. I want people to know that I am from here. I'm born and raised here. I was born in Charity Hospital, and I am doing this intentionally for people from here, and more so importantly, so that kids can see like you can grow up here and then still give back. So that's the legacy. So now we could keep it here, do it here, and it can be for us.
That's amazing.
It's phenomenal.
I think cities would be better if they had a bunch of you there.
It would be. So where could people like follow your unique journey?
Oh yes, very simple. So Phoenix Project NOLA on Instagram and Facebook, and then our website is also Phoenix Project NOLA.
Well, if you enjoyed having points that don't disappoint, go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Until next time.